From the 1st of January, all casinos and gambling will be moved away from residential areas after legal amendments were introduced to handle the growing phenomenon of the gambling industry. In conversation with journalists, the DP chair declared the country is in a poor state because of crime and that the audio tapping evidence sent to England was not the original material. Deputy Minister Sorensen accepted that, despite the increase in the number of individuals receiving professional education, there are difficulties in finding a position within the job market. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 9th of October 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Since January 1, all gambling businesses currently operating in residential areas will be moved to the periphery. It was the Prime Minister, Edi Rama, who introduced the legal changes, warning that the law determines that gambling establishments will be moved outside of the 28 square kilometre area from any city centre in the Republic of Albania. All online casinos will cease to operate according to the law as of December 31. Today's modification includes sports bets as well as any betting for so-called racing, be it horses, dogs or any other slave race of Albanian fauna. In regards to the state earnings from gambling, we have seen double the income when compared to the past. $54 million has been collected through increased formalities and taxation. Despite there being 40 companies we collected from in the past, now there are only 20, but the tax collected is double. As of the 1st of January, there will be no more new betting businesses in the territory of the Republic of Albania. As outlined in the existing amended law, no electronic casino can be found within 28,000 square kilometres of any inhabited area in the Republic of Albania, said Edi Rama. The head of the government said, among other things, that advertising for casinos or betting in the media would not be allowed. In accordance with the existing law, the advertising of betting companies is not permitted. This is being violated by all media without exception. I warn everyone to remove all commercials from radio, newspapers and online portals within 24 hours. The Audiovisual Media Authority should guarantee the implementation of the law in terms of screens and radios, as we will forcefully close every online site after 24 hours should there still be ads and violations of the existing law of the Republic of Albania, said Edi Rama. Prime Minister Edi Rama also announced that the government is working on a new scheme for licensing and controlling gambling activity in the future through the internet. Gambling in Albania has experienced a rapid boom, with revenue growing year on year. It is estimated that the annual turnover of gambling activities in the country is around €132 million. State Police Special Forces took over protection of Gisela Maloku and her family 24 hours after the explosives attack on her grandfather's home in Narushko Fushkuria, where she lives with her mother and sister. Two armed effectives of the Rapid Intervention Force stand in front of the door of Ram and Besim Mucha's yard, with only approved persons being allowed passage into the home. In the backyard is the car with which Gisela Maloku appeared in front of the media on Monday, but it is unknown if there is anyone, if she is there, because the family members are refusing to communicate with the media. A Special Forces van has blocked the road and is tasked with monitoring all movement nearby. The plan was approved on Monday after the 25-year-old girl agreed to police protection after declaring that she felt threatened by the opposition and accused them of being responsible for the explosion. Meanwhile, more than 15 people, mostly with penal cases, including family members of Gisela Maloku and her relatives of the ex-boyfriend Recep Raya, were accompanied and questioned about the event, but no charges were laid. Confidential sources told Aura News that during her testimony to police in Korea on Monday, Gisela Maloku said she did not suspect that after the explosives were a result of the actions by the family of friends of her boyfriend, who is already in prison. At this stage, the investigative group has not yet come to a conclusion as to the motives behind the attack or who the perpetrators were. The government, the parliament and the judicial system, according to the Democratic Party, are under the control of criminal gangs, and this alliance is stronger than ever. During the conversation with journalists, he emphasised the emergency situation in the country is because of the state links with crime. The chair of the Democratic Party, Basha, also responded to the Prime Minister's repeated conviction that the audio tapping does not feature the voice of the brother of the Interior Minister, Agron Jafai. The audio tapping is real and it is the voice of Agron Jafai. The prosecution has sent a copy of the video taken to the media taken by the media to England, and not the original material, said Basha. The opposition leader did not hesitate to blame the prosecution of serious crimes. The serious crimes prosecution has been robbed. They are now responsible for destroying all investigations against criminals. Saimir Tahiri's police model has now turned into the prosecution model for Artamarku, said Basha. Basha also provided new details about the gun crime in the block area, where one person was killed and 2 more were injured. The recent event in Tirana, which was sold to us for 4 days as a collision over a famous singer, is actually a clash over drugs. Those involved are known and documented traffickers with powerful links. Do you remember when Saimir Tahiri left for Germany after his passport was returned? Do you know who was in Germany with Tahiri? He was with Mata, who was included in the cafeteria gunfire between rival gangs. Where has this happened? It happened in a bar favoured by Arben Ahmetai and other ministers and MPs. We are not dealing with minor clashes, but with gang rivalry from powerful drug trafficking clans. We have far more incidents than before. This is all about cocaine bargains, said Basha. The head of the Democratic Party also responded to the interest from journalists regarding electoral reform, saying that the opposition has not boycotted the commission, but that the priority for the opposition is the separation of crime from the election process. Following the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund has also increased expectations for Albania's economic growth. The latest report predicts that the Albanian economy will reach 4%, up from the 3.7% predicted 4 months ago. This change has come as a result of high electricity production and export growth. But for the next 2 years, the expectations are less optimistic about economic growth, expecting it to fall slightly. If we compare it with the region, Albania is expected to have more positive economic performance. According to the International Monetary Fund, the countries of the region are projected to have an economic growth of less than 4%, such as Bosnia 3.2%, Serbia 3.5% and Montenegro 3.7%. Meanwhile, regarding the global economy, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, said that it has lowered the forecast for short-term economic growth as a result of the ongoing trade war between the US and China. The International Monetary Fund points out that the idea that trade and tariff wars are not profitable globally and will have adverse consequences on growth. I am sure that multilateral trade and its advantages, such as new financial technologies, the debt problem for low-income countries, and the goals for macroeconomic stability will be on the agenda this week, said Lagarde. Christine Lagarde also said that the revised forecast for the global economy predict growth of between 3.7 and 3.9% for 2019. The adjustments reflect the economic instability of emerging markets, but also the weak expansion of the Eurozone economy. Professional education is not giving the expected results for employment. During the report given at the Media Commission, Deputy Minister of the Economy and Finance, Daina Sorensen, declared that despite the fact that the professional education system has seen an increase in the number of students, there are problems with equipping the elements that the labour market demands. The education system, including professional education, does not give all individuals the full set of skills that are necessary in the labour market, and much more remains to be done about it. Establishing a qualitative system of skills which is market-oriented is a necessity for reducing unemployment, said Daina Sorensen. Sorensen declared that there were many influxes in the hotel tourism branch and less for other branches. Of the 5,612 students enrolled in professional education, 1,149 this year chose the hotel tourism faculty and another 784 for services for means of transport, added Daina Sorensen. According to the data from the National Employment Service, only 4.9% of unemployed job seekers trained during 2017 in professional courses have been hired, while it has been learned that over 10,000 people in the country have attended short-term professional courses. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.